You are listening to 1252 Sports Entertainment. Parental discretion may be advised.
Woo! It's about that time. FatMike, Chicago Sports. Yeah. Woo. Finally here. Shot City Sports is right here. Updates on news, get it here. No rumors, cause we keep it real. FatMike. Sit back, relax, sugar beer one of them nights.
Hey, this is Carmen DeFalco from ESPN Chicago, and you're listening to the FatMike Sports Show.
Hey, this is Dave Richard from CBS Sports, and you're listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hi, this is Jesse Rogers for the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hey everyone, I'm Scott Merkin, the longtime White Sox beat writer for MLB.com and proud graduate of the University of Michigan. You're listening to me on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
This is Chuck Arfine, and you are listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. It's the best.
Hey, what's up? This is Greg Braggs Jr. from Braggs in the Stands, and you're listening to my guys on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. Boom!
Hey everyone, Fred Hubner from ESPN 1000. Great to be on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. I'm Dan Zaborski, senior writer for Fangraphs, and you're listening to FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
I'm JJ Stankovitz from NBCSportsChicago.com and the Undercenter podcast, and you're listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hey Sparkle, you know what I listen to? It's the FatMike Chicago Sports Show with my guy, Fat Mike. If you listen anywhere else, no jock. Listen to Fat Mike. He's the best.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another FatMike Chicago Sports Show. We are back in action. We got a big and busy night for you guys here tonight. Not only are we going to be talking some Cubs and some Chicago Bulls, but we're also going to be talking some Chicago Bears, but we got the Bulls here tonight with the NBA draft going on. So hopefully the Bulls can turn this ship around and make sure that they can get their stuff in order to get it going, to proceed to the next level and become a guys. That's what we need here. That's exactly what we need here in Chicago. Joining me as always is my heterosexual life mate and my man, Angelo Camacho, and there he is. Angelo, how we doing, my friend?
Oh, man, it's a busy day in sports in Chicago today, huh?
It is. It's a very busy day here in Chicago sports land. I don't even know what to do, man. Like, there's so much news going on over this last 3 days. It's been hit or miss. You know, I don't know what to pay attention to.
Yeah, Cubs news after a terrible Bears loss, and now on top of that, the Bulls draft. Like, that's a loaded gun right there, man. Why don't we start with the Bulls draft? Let's start with the Cubs. Let's start with the Cubs really quick, man. It's excuse me. It's a sad day in my eyes, man. I remember when this day happened and when this day came upon us, when the Chicago Cubs agreed to terms with Theo Epstein. And I was the happiest camper on the planet, man. I was the happiest camper in Chicago here. I swear to God, Angela, I'm not even joking you. And this guy, listen, I remember I've always been a Chicago Cubs fan. I don't even know where to begin because I'm so distraught about this almost in a way, because although I knew it was going to happen, it still sucks that it did happen. Right. Growing up, the very first baseball game I ever went to was White Sox and Boston Red Sox. And I watched Mo Vaughn's fat ass hit 2 3-run homers against Chicago White Sox that day. And from that moment on, I was always a Red Sox fan, because growing up in my household, you couldn't be a White Sox fan. My dad would have beat my ass if I was a White Sox fan. All right. Like, he literally would have given me, the belt and a backhand if I was voting for Frank Thomas. You know what I mean? Right.
So when I watched it, I was like, oh, man, all right, this guy's awesome. He single-handedly beat the White Sox. And it was like the end of the game score was like 8-2 or 8-1 or some shit like that. So I was really pumped up. But it was the very first team that I saw really put
put a hurting on the team that I'm not supposed to like growing up. I was like 6 years old at this game.
Right.
And then so I always stayed in touch with the Boston Red Sox as a whole. I remember in 2006 when Aaron Boone hit the walk-off homer in Game 7 of the ALCS and completely ripped my heart out of my chest and stomped it on the ground against the Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, Boston Red Sox there. It broke. I cried. I cried like a bitch. I was 18 years old. I was sitting there weeping like a girl. I was sitting there crying on my couch, and my brothers were sitting there laughing. So that was 2003. 2003, because their first championship was in 2004. And I sat there and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? You know, like, you got to be kidding me, you know?
Right.
It was bad, man. And then I was like, oh, all right. But then Theo comes out of nowhere. The Red Sox win 3 championships right there in 2004, 2007, 2010. They win one. Was it 2004 or was it 2007, 2010, 2013? I think that's what it was. So, yeah, it was 06. So I was 18. But I was like, oh, man, like I was so pumped up when my other favorite team growing up, my very first favorite team, now has the guy that broke an 86-year curse for the Boston Red Sox to win the World Series.
Yep.
I was so pumped up. I was like, yeah. I'm like, all right, we got Theo, baby. This is going to look great. I can't wait, yada, yada, yada. And he did. He did his job. You know, he did his job. He was here out of the 10 years that he had signed up for. He's here 9, and he's handing it off to his good friend and coworker Jeb. Help me out here.
Hoyer.
Jeb Hoyer. I wanting to call him Hoyer. Jeb Hoyer. And it's awesome, man. But it is a sad day in Chicago here. You're talking about a guy who wrangled up John Lester and brought in Anthony Rizzo, and you know, he completely turned this franchise around to a winning team, the most winning I've ever seen out of the Chicago Cubs in my entire lifetime, man. Yep. And now he's gone. It's sad. I hope Jeb can continue to do it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, like you said, everybody knew it was coming. When he first got to the Cubs, in the press conference, he said, you know, Bill Walsh was his inspiration. 10 years, and then it's in time for a new voice. And I think it was honorable of him to leave this year instead of next because, like he said, there's so many big decisions going forward for this team that for him to make those decisions as a lame duck it just wouldn't be right to the next guy taking over.
Right.
Now, back to what you said, man. When Theo came to Chicago, I told my buddy Ethan, give it 5 years, the Cubs will be in the World Series in 5 years. He didn't believe me. In those 5 years, the Cubs not only made it to the World Series, but won the World Series.
Right.
Single-handedly greatest sports moment of my entire life. I'm only 30, so I didn't have to go through all those trials and tribulations like guys like my dad or my grandfather had to go to. My grandfather's 80 years old, you know, and I remember 2016 watching that game, and then after the Cubs had won, I called my grandfather, man, and he was crying, talking about how, you know, he never thought he would see it, that this is the greatest moment of his sports life, and to be able to share that much, you know, that big of a moment with my dad and my grandfather, it's something I'll always cherish, and Theo gave that to me. There will never be another Game 7 World Series that means so much to a fan base like that one did.
Right.
Theo gave that to all the Cubs fans.
Yeah, I mean, I love this, man. I love Theo Epstein with all of my heart. You're talking about the guy. Nah, we don't like them. I don't bring politics into our shit, Angelo. I don't. All right, whether it be, you know, pro-Trump, pro-Biden, or pro-Trump or pro-Hillary, I didn't bring it into any of my shows or any of my writing or anything like that. But I will tell you who I voted for the last 2 elections, and it's been Theo Epstein. That's who I voted for. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. 2016 election, I voted for Theo Epstein. 2020 election, I voted for Theo Epstein. I don't care. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Yeah, but in reality, he would probably do a better job than most of the other people that would have taken over.
Like I said, we're not going to get too political. I'm just saying that's who I voted for. I voted for the Theo Epstein party. That's who I voted for.
All right, this guy, like you just said here too. The Chicago Cubs winning the World Series is easily, hands down, one of the top 5 moments of my lifetime, dude.
Yeah.
Like it really is. I mean, it truly is. It's going to be like, if Megan and I ever figure it out and we end up getting married, which it's been planned for now 2 years, but COVID struck and fucked everything up.
Right.
And so now we got to push it off to next year. Like, it's going to be like, it's my wedding, right? My wedding and like the Cubs World Series.
So I'm a father, right? And I always tell people, I love my kids. It's, the day my kid was born, greatest day of my life, period. But there's a different kind of love you have for your sports teams than like, your girlfriend, your wife,
your children. Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, they always come back. They always come back. Your sports team always comes back every year.
Yeah. Probably like my kid being born and the Cubs winning the World Series right around there, and then everything else underneath.
Right.
Now, when if the Bears, whenever the fuck they decide to get their heads out of their asses up there, decide to win a Super Bowl, that'll be up there just as much. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the longest championship drought in sports right now.
No. The Vikings have never won one.
Right, but that's never winning. That's not a drought. They just
right.
haven't won because they're terrible franchise.
Oh, they just beat the shit out of the Bears.
Hey, whatever. I lost some money on that. That's the last time I ever bet.
You're not betting. We'll get into the Bears here in a minute. Really quick, I want to give a quick shout out to our guys over at Firehouse Subs. These guys are the best, man. I love these guys. Angelo, I mean, I'm sure you've had them before. These guys are great. They sponsor the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show. Shout out to my guy Sam Stanovich and shout out to my guy Bob May over at Firehouse Subs. Make sure you eat your Firehouse Subs because they are great. And really quick, I'm going to play a little clip for you guys because they kick ass. So here you go. Firehouse Subs family of restaurant owners and local crews are proud to continue to serve you the hot, hearty, and meaty subs you crave every single day. It's never been easier to grab their subs on the go for you or your entire family. With Firehouse Subs Rapid Rescue to Go, you can order online or on the Firehouse Subs app, and they'll have your subs boxed, bagged, and ready for pickup at their designated to-go areas. No crowds, no lines, no waiting, no problem. Or get Firehouse Subs delivered right to your door with your favorite delivery app. Remember, Firehouse Subs was founded by firefighters, so being there to help serve their community, it's in their DNA. Plus, you can still order a variety of cold subs, salads, and dessert catering platters for groups as small as 5. And when you order in Firehouse Subs app, you'll earn points you can redeem for free food like meal upgrades and free subs. A portion of every Firehouse Subs purchase goes towards providing life-saving equipment for first responders. This year, the contributors from Firehouse Subs and their suppliers will total a minimum of $1 million to support first responders via the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. So guys, go on in, get your Firehouse Subs, be there, they're the best, and this is coming from a fat guy, so you know they're the best. So eat Firehouse Subs. All right, and we're back, and we got a quick little update here. The Timberwolves with the first overall pick. You guys ready?
LaMelo Ball, please.
Nope. They select former Georgia shooting guard Anthony Edwards with the number 1 overall pick in the NBA 2020 draft. So there you go. Anthony Edwards off the board, and that's it. So the Bulls ain't getting him. Bulls are still sitting pretty at 4. Hopefully we get the update on this as we go along for tonight, but it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be a good show.
I hope they don't take LaMelo Ball.
I don't want to see any ball in a Bears uniform.
Yeah,
LaMelo, Lorenzo.
They want both those kids.
LaMelo, Lorenzo. What's the other one's name?
Lonzo.
Lorenzo.
He said would you Lonzo? Would you call him Rondo? Like Rajon Rondo?
Lorenzo?
Yeah.
Whatever.
We don't need 2 balls on the Bulls.
Yeah, we don't need 2 balls on the Bulls. We need 1 full ball on the Bulls. That's it. We need 1 full ball. We need ballless Bulls, okay? That's what we need.
Bulls.
Ballless Bulls. That's a T-shirt right there. Ballless Bulls. Ballless Bulls.
A bull with no nuts.
Yeah, just a bull, just castrated, just sitting there. Because that's what they've been the last fucking since 1997, 98. They've been ballless bulls. They've been terrible. Yeah. They've been good with they were good with D Rose, and that's been pretty much it. But yeah, so there we go, guys. There's our update, our NBA update. Next week, hopefully we have our guy Salim come on with us over at Bulls Gold Podcast, and that'd be cool. And yeah, let's hope that happens because he knows more about basketball than any other human being than I know, and that's legit. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to fake it. I don't know basketball. I don't. I watch March Madness. I think it's awesome. That's when March Madness hits. That is my favorite time of the year, Angelo. You got baseball kicking on. You got hockey still on. You got the March Madness going on. You got some good golf going on in March. I don't know if you know, Angela. I am a big golf guy.
I did know that.
I am a big golf guy, and watching the match.
With you a while, I've learned that.
I am a big golf guy. I love golf. But yeah, I mean, March is my favorite time of the year because there's just so much shit on. You know what I mean? It's amazing. Right. There's just so much garbage on. You don't know what to watch, and it's my ultimate favorite. But that's the only basketball that I watch is the March Madness. I don't give a flying frog's fat green pimply ass about the NBA. But my buddy Salim, he knows his shit. And how about it, Angela? You just interviewed him a few weeks ago on your podcast, Sport Court.
Yep, I had him on. We talked about the NBA bubble. We talked about the draft coming up.
Right.
Who he thought would be, a good pick for the Bulls. What take to improve, but it's I'm interested to see what they do because it's been a good offseason so far, but the big thing is right now, right?
Right.
You can hire the executive, you can hire the coach, you can hire the coaching staff, but if you screw up the players, then what good was all that? So it's it'll be interesting. It should happen here pretty soon. There was a lot of rumors about the Bulls, trading up and trying to get into the second pick and all that good stuff. So
well, our guy just Salim, really quick, he just posted 2 minutes ago. So, guys, if you're not following him, Salim is fucking unbelievable with NBA basketball, and especially our Chicago Bulls here. He just tweeted 2 minutes ago, Angelo. It's sounding more and more like Patrick Williams is the pick, so maybe a trade down. So maybe that is the case. I don't know too much about Patrick Williams. Well, like I said, we'll discuss that. I mean, do you know anything about this kid or?
You said you like March Madness. I'm not a big college basketball guy. I don't really watch college ball. I don't really watch college football too much. I watch it, but I don't follow it like some people follow it.
Right.
They know all the position players, and this guy's going to be a stud, and that guy. I don't follow it like that. So,
well, you know what this sounds like? It sounds like you and I are really doing a good job of hosting a sports podcast.
Yeah, I guess so.
We're just gonna. I mean, fuck. We might as well just play Dungeons and Dragons live on here and be like, a bunch of dorks.
With the second pick, the Warriors select James Wiseman.
Yeah, this kid. He's out of Memphis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, James Wiseman. This kid's gonna be pretty good. I think. I like watching this kid dunk. It seems like he can dunk over anybody. But I do like James Wiseman. I have seen him. Memphis. He's a pretty good baller, man. I like this kid. I think he was averaging right around like 15, 16 points a game. He's going to be a pretty good thing. And now, not only that, dude, but there was news today that Klay Thompson fucked up his right leg pretty good. And from what I've seen, now I'm going to be quoting those assholes over at Barstool. I love those guys; they're great. But those assholes over at Barstool, from what they said, I don't know how real this tweet was. I can never take their shit seriously. You know what I mean?
Right. Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I take it with a grain of salt. But from what they reported earlier, it said that Klay Thompson tore his ACL. And if he tore his ACL, he's done for the year.
Yeah,
he's not coming
absolutely.
back. You know, that's a big loss. You know, we know how much Klay Thompson means to that Golden State Warriors team. And I mean, just a complete 3-thread open scorer. Like, he's just unbelievable on that Golden State team.
Right.
From what I've seen, like I said, I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but yeah. So real quick, man.
Here's the issue with that now is now he was hurt last year. Now he's going to be hurt this year. That's another year of really no contention for a championship. You got to start thinking about, what's best for the future of that franchise. You can't keep relying on Klay Thompson to be that guy anymore.
Right. But I mean, the way the Splash Brothers are built, man, between him and Steph Curry, you just, if anything, you wait. Just like we waited for Derrick Rose, you wait for a guy with the effort and spectacularness of Klay Thompson.
Let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
How did waiting for Derrick Rose turn out for the Bulls?
Oh, it turned out like dog shit.
Yep.
It turned out like dog shit.
Now, they do play two completely different styles of basketball.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, waiting on a guy to get healthy is not always the smartest move to make.
The thing that hurt Derrick Rose because he just brought it too hard, I think.
Yeah. Oh, you could see it when he would play.
I mean, he just brought it too hard. That guy had an Allen Iverson mentality in a game of ninnies.
Yeah.
At that point, you know what I mean? And when players don't play to their full potential or, full go, I mean, if you're sitting there joking around with your buddy, you're more likely to get injured joking around with your buddy than you are actual being physical. You like being in a physical fist fight. You know what I mean? Like in my eyes, anyways. He just went too hard, man. I love Derrick Rose.
You can tell every time he hit the ground, like to jump,
right.
I thought he was going to leave a hole in the ground. That's how hard he would plant himself before taking off. And I mean, it was only a matter of time before that happened.
Right. I love Derrick Rose, though, man. I'd love to see that guy back in a Bulls uniform. But we do have a big guest coming on, joining us here tonight, Angelo. We do got my buddy, our guy, over at the Bears Brawl Room coming on with us tonight, which should be cool. And it should be a good time talking to him. He's going to be signing on here with us in a little bit, which I'm excited for, man. I really am. Dan Goodwin III from the Bears Brawl Network, and that's going to be a fun time talking to him. We're going to be talking a lot of Bears tonight, talking a lot of Bulls as the picks come in. I don't know is the third pick in yet?
No, I'm looking right now on Twitter. I don't see it. It's saying that the most likely outcome is LaMelo to Charlotte, but it's not official yet.
All right. Most likely outcome. So let's see what happens here. We're going to keep you guys in the loop as we're going as well. But yeah, Angelo, how about that beautiful Monday night game this past week? Bears Vikings, man. What are your thoughts on that guy?
My thoughts are I love this Chicago Bears team. This is but
they suck.
It's my favorite team in Chicago, period. And then very close second is the Cubs, and everybody else comes fourth, fifth, sixth. There's not even a third. But the way that
the Bears take slot 1, slot 2, Cubs take 3.
Yep. It's like a blend on number 2 between Cubs and Bears. But at 5-1, we knew that there were a lot of issues with this team, right?
Right.
It's been a shitty 2020. I was embracing the shit out of that 5-1. I didn't think they were legit. I didn't think they were going to do anything major. I thought maybe with that 5-1 cushion, they'd be able to get into the playoffs. That doesn't look like a likely scenario at the moment. Every time they lost, it was ugly. And I would be like, oh, it can't get worse. And then the next game would happen, and it would look worse. And then I was like, oh, that's got to be rock bottom. And then they went to 5-4, and that fourth loss was terrible. And then Monday night happened, and I was like, well, they cannot get worse than last week. And then they did.
Right.
I tweeted it out. It's so impressive to me how they can look that bad, because I've seen teams tanking that don't even look that bad. Like, they're trying, which is the shittiest part, is they're trying not to look this way, and they look this way.
Right.
That's bad to me. That's
listen. We have beaten this horse beyond repair. Like, this horse has been dead for the last, in my opinion, this horse has been dead since week 2. And I mean that. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter if you had Mitch. It doesn't matter if you have Foles. It don't matter. All right, this team is just not a good team. And it showed this past Monday night. Every single third down, man, every single third down the Bears had, Mike Zimmer was sending pressure. And the Bears had absolutely no answer for it. None whatsoever.
Yep.
The Bears fucking suck, man. That O-line is terrible. They just straight suck. Exactly what it is. You are only as good as the personnel that you have. And let me tell you something. On the offensive side of the ball, they don't have shit besides Allen Robinson. And it goes to the fact that even Allen Robinson's agent on Twitter this last week is sitting there talking shit about the Bears. Why aren't you targeting 12 in the end zone? What's going on here? Wouldn't you think that you would target your number 1 wide receiver in the end zone? Blah, 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 blah. No, I get it, man. And listen, if I ever become famous, that guy, I want him to be my agent.
Right,
ESPN. ESPN, how come you're not offering Fat Mike and Angelo a slot on the 10 o'clock Sports Center? You know, that's the guy I want to be my representative.
Right.
But this Bears team, man, it's awful. It is fucking awful. We're on a bye week this week. We're going to come back next week for the Bears-Packers game in prime time again, mind you, which is going to be terrible, to where the entire nation can see how bad the fucking Bears are. To be like, oh my Jets fans are going to be like, oh my God, thank God we're not the fucking Bears.
Yeah,
like, that's exactly what's going to happen. And all over Chicago sports radio, Angelo, I know you've been hearing this too, man. Everybody's saying, go get Sam Darnold, go get this guy, go get that guy. You could trade a bag of balls, a carton of eggs, and a gallon of milk for Sam Darnold. No, the fuck you can't. No, you cannot. That's not what's going to happen. Sam Darnold, one, I don't like him. I don't like his stupid USC face. I don't like his fucking G.I. Joe Duke haircut. Leave him in New York. And I don't just burn New York to the ground. Okay? Honestly. And make sure you start at MetLife Stadium. That's where you start. In East Rutherford, New Jersey. Okay? You start there and force the wind out west to where it burns the New York State down to the ground. But anyways, it doesn't matter, man. The personnel is terrible. It doesn't matter who you have at quarterback, whether it be Sam Darnold or Mitch Trubisky or Nick Foles or Tyler Bray. Today they're working out fucking Deshaun Kaiser. All right, another Notre Dame boy. Whoop-de-fucking-do. All right. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. Plain and simple. It does not matter. Until you fix the O-line where everything begins, all right, until you fix that portion, it doesn't matter who you have as your quarterback. If the Bears had a halfway, somewhat decent O-line, this team would be 7-3, 6-4 right now instead of 5-5.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it makes no sense, like, what they're doing. I get it. Tyler Bray's not the answer, right? But guess what? Neither were the other two guys. At this point, right? At this point, you are 5-5. What is the best trajectory for this team to take, right? Trying to win, and I want the Bears to win every week. So before people come out and say, oh, you're a shitty fan because you don't want them to win, you want them to lose. I would rather them lose every single game the rest of the year at this point than another victory. Because at least then, by losing every game, you may get into the top 7 in the draft.
Yeah, there's a strong possibility that you can get in there. Yeah, correct.
Right. And you have they talk about it a lot on the ESPN shows today, especially about the Khalil Mack trade, right? That's a bad trade at this point. We got him. I loved getting him, right? But you got him with the thought that, okay, we're going to pay this guy all this money, give away these draft picks, and we're going to go to the Super Bowl, right? But that all was revolving around if Mitch was going to be successful.
Right. And
as
even
soon as
the
we
way
realized
now,
he wasn't the guy,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
as soon as we realized that he wasn't the guy, that trade became terrible because you lost draft picks and you're paying this guy all this money. So you have no way to fix the quarterback problem.
Right. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the way that Khalil Mack's deal is structured right now, you can't trade him as it is anyways, I believe. I'm pretty sure you can't get rid of him as it is anyways, the way his deal is structured. So you'd have to wait until next year to get rid of him. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But I've read a few things where that's what it, and when I read it, that's what it seems to be.
Oh, hold on. We have breaking Chicago Bulls news.
Chicago Bulls news. Hold on, let me get the drum roll.
The Chicago Bulls at number 4 select Patrick Williams out of Florida.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Let me read you some stats.
Okay.
He averaged 9.2
this guy's a fucking gamer.
points per game and 22 and a half minutes per game.
This guy's a straight up gamer. All right, Patrick Williams, right?
A forward. Like the Bulls don't have 7,000 forwards already. This is like the Bears with their fucking kicking competition.
19th tight end.
Yeah, that's it. The 2,000 tight ends they had on the team. Who do you need another forward for? Jesus Christ.
You know who needs a forward? The Chicago Blackhawks. The Blackhawks need a two-way forward.
Yeah.
That needs a forward. All right. So really quick, like we had said earlier, like I had told you guys, I'm really excited to bring on our guest here, my buddy Dan Goodwin. I've been talking to this guy the last 2 weeks. Last weekend, unfortunately, I was not able to bring him on in here, and rough of an emergency, and it's everything's good now. But yeah, everybody knows that I did the last show from the hospital parking lot, so that was fun. But here we go, our guy Dan Goodwin from the Brawl Network. Dan, how we doing, my friend?
What's happening? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, man. I know you and I have been kind of kissing messages back and forth with one another, and I'm just really happy to bring you on, man. I'm really excited to have you on here with us tonight.
I appreciate it once again, man. I really do.
All right. So what, listen, man, you've obviously heard us bitching the last couple of minutes here about the Bears here just not being a good team in any stretch of the imagination whatsoever at this point. Starting off 5-1, shaky 5-1 at that. I mean, it could have went a few of those games could have went either way. And now we're sitting here at week 10, going into the week 11 bye week, sitting 5-5 and not looking pretty. Dan, besides the O-line, I want to hear your opinions, pal. What's going on here? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I've got a few of them. I think the biggest concern that I have is Nagy, coaching. Okay. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of different things that I just don't feel good when it comes to him. Number one, I don't like the way our players progress, how they develop under him. Name me a guy that really has developed into something very good. I mean, you got like Jackson, but that was kind of he was injured. That's why they got him at that spot.
Right.
I'm talking about developmental players, guys that you need to put some type of, whatever you need to put behind them to try to get them motivated to move forward. This guy, it seems like he's not able to do it.
Right.
I can run him off. Mitch Trubisky, he didn't develop that guy. You know what I mean? And a lot of people crap on Trubisky, and I get it. He's had his issues, but I always say, and I've said it, and I'm going to be consistent. When it comes to Trubisky, he wasn't given the tools necessary to be successful.
Right.
I agree.
That's what I feel like.
Especially with that horseshit O-line, Dan.
Exactly.
It always felt like Nagy wasn't utilizing his strength like he should. He always wanted him to play that pocket passer, and that's just not his game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, one way that I look at it is we see in this situation where we have this pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. And teams weren't able to deal with preseason football and things like that. But go back 2 years. Go back to after the 2018 season, going into 2019. Mitchell Trubisky didn't play not one snap of preseason football.
Right.
Why is that? That was a decision that Nagy made. We're good. We're comfortable. He doesn't need to practice. And then you throw him in that first game, and I've said this before too, the first game, and that's when it clicked for me, and I said, hey, this dude's nuts, man. Something's not right. Because you throw him into the first game against Green Bay, division rival Aaron Rodgers, and you drop him back to pass the ball 50-plus times after no preseason snaps. Right. None. No competitive football. To me, that was a sign of things to come, in my opinion. And from that point forward, I've been critical of Nagy, and I will continue to be critical of him until he starts making some changes or they get him up out of there.
Yeah, I hear now that's the 10-3 loss, right? I know that obviously they play Green Bay. Yeah, that was the 10-3 loss that everybody was butthurt about.
Yep.
How can you only score 3 points? Yeah, blah 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 blah.
100-year opener.
Yep.
Right, the 100-year opener. I remember after that game, Dan, I was so livid after that game. I mean, I don't know if there's a meme, there's a GIF, or I don't know. I don't know technology at this point, Dan. I'm not even gonna joke with you. But there's a GIF or a video or a meme or a Vine or whatever the fuck they're called, where a Cowboys fan legitimately throws his beer at the screen and then rips the TV off the wall by punching it a bunch of times, and then takes out a pistol and shoots the TV like 9 times. I have been there before as a Bears fan. I've been there. Okay. Yeah. And to allude from that one of them was that game, all right, and then the rest of the 2019 season, especially going at 8-8 after a 12-4 season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've been a big proponent that Mitch Trubisky has never passed my eye test. I am not a Mitch guy. Okay, I've been watching football for 25 years of my life. I've played football for 20 years of my life. All right, I understand what it takes to be a quarterback in football. Maybe not necessarily the professional game, but I understand what it takes to be a quarterback in football.
Mm-hmm.
And he has just never passed my eye test. He's never read his progressions all the way down, missing wide open guys, overthrowing wide open guys. He's a check down machine. He's not even a check down machine like your guys like Alex Smith or even Tom Brady in his old age. Where do you see what I want to say, who do you think should start week 11 against the Packers? Should it be Mitch Trubisky if healthy or Nick Foles if healthy? And don't forget, we also just worked out we got Tyler Bray, Baby Dick Bray, and then Baby Dick Bray instead of Big Nick Dick or Big Dick Nick or whatever the fuck his name is. All right, so we got Big Dick Nick, Baby Dick Bray, and we got Deshaun Long Johnson Kaiser. So let's see what's happening here.
You got all the names for him, huh?
I got all the penis innuendos, dude. I'm all about
it. One thing, I'm just get Bray out of the way. He was trash in Tennessee. He's been trash. He's not going to be anything. You know what I mean? It is what it is. What is he, 29 years old now, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he is what he is.
Right. He's been in the NFL for 6 years.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm not a fan of Trubisky. I know he has his flaws. The only thing that I said about Trubisky is that I still believe, and right now I believe he gives us the best chance to win because of the offensive line. Now, a lot of people disagree with me and they say, well, he hasn't run that much. And that's because of the play calling. That's what they wanted him to do. Now, I think because he has wheels, there's a threat there. If you go back and you look at the beginning of the season, I know they played inferior defenses at the beginning of the season. They were running the ball, and they, as a team, as a whole, they were averaging over 5 yards per carry. Now, since Foles has been in and Trubisky's gone, teams can pin their ear back. He's a statue. He's not going to move. When he takes off to run, he looks literally like a baby horse starting to walk. That's what Foles looks like when he takes off to run, right? So, in my opinion, I think Trubisky still gives us the best chance to win, and that's just because there's the threat to run. Even if he doesn't take off and run, there's a threat there. So teams are not just able to just take off and decapitate the guy every single time back. So, and I'm not a fan of Foles either. I think, like what I just said about Bray, he's 29. Foles is 31. He's a journeyman. You know what I mean? And everybody has fallen in love with the guy because he won a Super Bowl, and I get it. That's fine. Good. But he's never thrown for over 3,000 yards in the season.
Right.
He had a 27-2 season, and that was with a gimmicky offense. He's never duplicated that. everywhere he's gone, they've gotten rid of him. There's a reason why. Teams don't give away franchise quarterbacks if you're good.
Right. So one thing you say really quick, Dan, yeah, I understand that, okay, fine. Does Mitch Trubisky fit this offensive better right now going forward with this shitty offensive line? And you're correct in that, in my opinion. That offensive line, like I'm sure you heard us while you were sitting there waiting for us to bring you on there a second. All right. This old line is a saloon swinging door, man. I mean, Jermaine Ifedi is fucking dog shit.
This might be the worst offensive line I have ever seen in football.
Is, you know, like when Jeff Goldblum finds that big fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex turd out in the middle of Jurassic Park. That's Jermaine Ifedi right there, okay? He fucking stinks, and you can just go right around him and avoid him, plain and simple, all right? But this whole line is bad, man. But when you say that Mitch Trubisky is the better option, I agree with you to an extent, Dan. I think it depends on what I'm not saying, and I am not a fucking proponent of this. I'm going to say this immediately right away because you can't just go swapping quarterbacks each and every single week. But the way that this team is built right now, it depends on who you play defensively. So now this next week, they're going up against Green Bay. Green Bay does not have a good pass rush. I say Nick Foles is the better option to play. Okay, I honestly, Nick Foles does not have a good. Nick Foles, the Green Bay Packers do not have a good pass rush. Nick Foles, standing in the pocket, would be a better quarterback than Mitchell Trubisky in Week 11 here, coming up against the Green Bay Packers. Now, that being said, if you're going up against the Texans like you are in a few weeks, who do have a good pass rush and who do get after the quarterback, I want to start Mitchell Trubisky back there because he can get away from those guys and create a play and extend a play with his legs. And like I said, I'm not a proponent of this. I think it's at this point with what you have, your best option, if anything, imaginative option is to see who you have back there and what defense you're going up against. And that's the sad truth of it. This Bears team just straight up sucks.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and I said this before, Dan, too. All right, I called in. I know that you're down there on the East Coast in Florida, right?
Atlanta.
Okay, so you're down there in Atlanta. All right. Well, up here, I don't know if you listen to Chicago sports radio much or whatever, but I called in the other day to Carmen and Yurko, good buddies of mine up here on ESPN 1000, and the point that I wanted to make was this. There are some really bad teams in the NFL. There are teams that aren't good teams, like the Jacksonville Jaguars, the New York Jets, the Houston Texans, the Minnesota Vikings. The Detroit Lions aren't a good team. The San Diego Chargers, the Cincinnati Bengals. Those teams are not good teams, okay? But that's it. That's their cap. They're just not a good team right now. But the Bears are what the Bears are is they're not a good team, and they fucking suck to boot. All right? And there's only one other team that's a bad team and sucks to boot, and it's the New York Jets. Plain and simple.
Yeah. Man, you know, the thing that disturbs me about it is that we're one notch up from the Jets, right? And the Jets are basically purposely trying to lose, right?
Right.
So we're one step up from a team that's purposely trying to lose.
Let me ask this question really quick, Dan. But are you one step up on the New York Jets because they're tanking to get the number one to possibly get the number one quarterback in all of college football and Trevor Lawrence? So how bad are you really? You're a team that sucks and isn't good and not going to fall in a place to where you can make a difference in this year's upcoming draft.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I said it really falls on Nagy because you can't tell me that everybody, we just have a lack of talent, right? I think we have some talented players on the team, but it's been a consistent snowball going downhill, and that's what we're doing. And we're gaining steam. We're getting faster and faster as we roll. And that's the issue. That's the issue that I have with Nagy. I also place some blame at Pace's feet as well. And that's because we went into this season without a nose tackle, right? And it took him forever to try to find somebody, you know, just went into the season with that. You go into the season with this, like you said, a turnstile door at offensive line. I mean, look at Rashad Coward, man.
Yep.
I mean, and it's really not even all his fault because he's actually a defensive player, and they converted him over to offense. You know what I mean?
He's not big. He's not Big Cat Williams, dude. He's not Big Cat.
So it's you have this situation where it's like, man, what are we doing? What are we doing? And like you said, you figure Foles is the better guy for the situation going against Green Bay right now. Man, I'm looking at game after game. We had 149 yards total offense. He had 106 yards passing last week.
Yeah.
We went 7 quarters straight and scored 3 points.
Yep.
Hold on really quick. Where's my gun at? Hold on.
You know what I mean? These are the things. These are the things that we're looking at week after week after week. And in the NFL, a team never starts out week 1 and ends it week 16, the same team. We look at this team and they're not going to end the same. They're going to end up worse than what they were. Now, what team starts out in week 1 and week 10 they're worse? They're worse. They're completely worse. I'm at a loss for words of it. You know what I mean? Because it does not make sense, man.
Like I was telling Mike, we just talked about the Jets being below the Bears, but the Jets are actively, everybody knows they're trying to lose. Otherwise, Adam Gase would have been fired 3 weeks ago. The Bears, they look like they're trying, and that's what's the frustrating thing is they're out there. The defense is playing their ass off for an offense that even when they're trying can't get 3 yards. In the third quarter, they ended -5 yards for a quarter. Like you can fall forward for more yards than that. And I know that there's injuries and the running back position is all screwed up because of Montgomery being gone, but I place a lot of this blame with Ryan Pace. I've tried to defend Nagy also. I said, let him get a quarterback that he likes. And I know Foles probably isn't his ideal quarterback, right? He was in Kansas City when they drafted Patrick Mahomes. That's the guy that he wants. But Pace has screwed up so much. Kevin White, Adam Shaheen, Mitch Trubisky, Leonard Floyd. And not only did he screw up those guys, but look at Leonard Floyd this year. He's gone and he's flourished with the Rams. And then you bring in a guy like Robert Quinn. You spend all that money on this guy, and he can't get to the quarterback. That money that you spent on him could have gone to 2 offensive linemen to bring on your team to help make it better.
Or a new jugs machine.
In my opinion, I love this team. But if they win, it's just going to hurt them in the long run. Because if they, God forbid, they make the playoffs, that'll be an excuse for Ryan Pace and an excuse for Matt Nagy to still keep their jobs, and nothing changes at that point. Do we really want Ryan Pace making another quarterback decision after the ones that he's made?
I think Pace keeps his job, and I'm gonna tell you what I think happens. I think Pace ends up keeping his job. He's distanced himself from Nagy already. Let's just be real about it, right? Yeah. The decision was not Nagy's to stop giving up, to stop calling plays. That came from Pace. The conversation that he had with Nagy forced Nagy into, hey, look, you tried it your way. We got you your quarterback. Nagy has placed blame at everybody else's feet.
Right.
He's never accepted it, right? You scapegoated coaches in the past, offensive and defensive coaches, right? You scapegoated your offensive line coach. The offensive line coach that we got rid of has coached 15 all-pro linemen.
Yep.
We got rid of him. We bring in Juan Castillo. Juan Castillo, some people say he's good. I'm one of the people that say, no, I'm not a fan of him. Look what he did in Buffalo. He didn't work out there. You know what I mean? So on and so forth. So you scapegoat all these people. You scapegoat your quarterback. You scapegoat the coaches. You scapegoat players. You have a running back in David Montgomery, and since last year you wasn't giving him the ball. I'm going to tell you one thing. The offensive line was better in 2018, but the reason that they were better is because we had a pound the ground running back, a guy that can move the pile. These guys don't open up holes, so you need a running back there to just run up and push the pile forward for 2 or 3 yards. We don't have it.
I like that the thing you just said about the running back, Dan. and I agree with you on that Trubisky should start versus the Packers, because when Trubisky, if you want to win, if that's your goal, when Trubisky was under center, they weren't playing in the shotgun. They were playing on the line. You have a shaky offensive line, right? Why would you start your team 5 yards back of a shit line, give the ball to a running back, and before he can even get 2 yards, the defense is already after him? So you're losing 3 yards every single time. The Trubisky under center gives you multiple options of handing it off, rolling out, or Trubisky doing a draw play. There's just different options that Foles doesn't give you. And I know, Mike, you don't like that answer because you don't like Trubisky, but if the goal is to win games, Trubisky is the guy right now with this offensive line, with the bad running back situation that they have, that gives them the best chance to win. That's just my opinion.
I go, listen, man, I go either way on this. I really do. Dan, you say that you don't think Pace loses his job. And honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat with you. I don't think Pace or Nagy lose their jobs this year. And I think the whole reason is going to fall on COVID. They're gonna take whatever aspect that they're gonna grab whatever they can grab out of thin air to secure both these guys, and that's what I firmly believe.
Scapegoat. You talk about scapegoat.
Right,
now COVID's a scapegoat.
Yeah.
Right, COVID's going to be the scapegoat, and that's what I firmly believe. Now, in my shoes, what I would do, just like I'm pretty sure everybody on the panel here would do, between me, you, Angelo, and you, Dan, I'd fucking clean house. I mean, I'm legit, man. I'm cleaning house. Pace, get the fuck out of here. Nagy, adios, buddy. You're gone. All right, and then I'd bring in. Then I would sit there and I would bring in somebody along the lines of, you got to start with your GM. But who hires your GM? That's been the question around here in Chicago over the past couple of weeks. Who hires your GM? Figure it the fuck out. Figure it out. Bring in a GM and then have your GM introduce a bunch of coaches. Because that's one thing that bothers me. You have a GM who hires a coach, who then the coach hates you have a coach and a GM. The GM gets fired. You have a coach now who hates the brand new GM because that new GM doesn't want him to do anything. Then that GM gets fired, and then the new GM fires the coach. That's what it's been like here in Chicago. Figure it the fuck out. Honestly, as I sit here and look at it now, the Bears may be possibly the worst ran organization in the entire NFL. And that's saying something over the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars, over the New York Jets, over, a bunch of shitty teams out there, the Washington football team. I got it right that time, Angel. I got it right that time, Angel. I finally caught myself. Okay. But, literally, there's I
don't know, Mike. I feel like the family wants to win, right? Because they got rid of Lovey when he was 10-6. They moved on from Trestman and Emery after 2 years. I think they want to win. They just don't know how. And by having a guy like Ted Phillips who has no idea what he's doing up there, you're never going to get somebody in here who knows football. And that's the problem. That's where
the thing is, you're right about that. They don't know football. The McCaskies don't really. That side of the family doesn't know football. They're not football people. Right. Hallis was, right? Hallis is, we get that, but McCaskies, they're not football people on that side, right? So you've got Ted Phillips, who's basically a money man. That's all he does. Mm-hmm. He tries to figure things out and make things work. Then you've got this consultant, Daniel, old Daniel Accorsi, who just puts a list of players or coaches or GMs together and say, hey, these are pretty good guys right here.
These are candidates.
Choose one. Yeah, choose one. And that's what you're going off of. You don't have a situation where you got people that really know the game, know what's going on, and then you have this free-for-all when it comes to, the GM. He's got to go to Phillips and make sure he's okay to spend any money. I think they told Ryan Pace, I'm just going to be honest, because I don't see how you go week after week after week with the offensive linemen that were on free agency, with offensive linemen that got cut from other teams like Buffalo, like Quentin Spain. I don't see how you go week after week after week and not make an effort to get any of those guys. right? Donald Penn is out
yep,
there.
100%.
There's tons of guys out there that would be way better than what we have right now. And I think they said, look, you can't spend any more money. And that's the reason why I think changes are going to be made, because you don't want to lock yourself into anything else and let these guys spend any more money, because we're about to make a change.
And I hope you're right, because we've talked.
Right there.
Mike and I have
Sorry,
talked about this on previous episodes. We've talked about this, about how anybody has to be better than what they have. They haven't brought in anybody to even work out, and that's a problem. So I'm hoping you're right, Dan, that they were just like, no, we're not spending any more money. Figure it out. We'll see where we're at the end of the year, because it just blows my mind. Like you said, Spain was on free agency, and there's been guys that have been released that would improve your line. It might not be A prospects, right? But they're better than what you have, and the Bears just aren't even entertaining the thought of having these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dan, over the next 6
Mike?
weeks, where do you think this team ends up finishing, my man?
Man, it's hard to say, man. You know, I want to sit here and say, hey, our schedule's gotten softer. We got 2 against Green Bay. We got Detroit. We definitely can take them out. I think we can at least get 1 against Green Bay. We'll beat Minnesota the next time around. Minnesota, they didn't really do anything to beat us. I mean, 19-13. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. And we played about as pathetic as we could play. And Buster Screen, by the way, Buster Screen is driving me crazy. 5 targets, 5 receptions, 2 touchdowns given up in that game. To me, that's
busted.
Bears.
Busted Screen is more like it, man. Because every time there's a big play against the defense, is always him.
Yeah.
He's the guy. And I don't want to shit on the defense, because without them, God knows this team would look like when they were getting 50 points put up on them every week.
You're gonna have a situation though soon, and if you pay attention to what Eddie Jackson was saying in his presser after the game, there's some people on the defensive side of the ball that are getting tired of it, right? And they're going to start blaming the offensive people. And when that starts happening, you have guys that will start making business decisions with their bodies, and they won't play defense as well as they have been. Yep. And for that reason, I figure the Bears will end up 8-8 like they were last year, and quite possibly 7-9, unfortunately.
Now, Dan, let me ask you this. One more question from me, at least. Obviously, the Khalil Mack trade looks bad at this point, right? You gave up all that draft equity, all that money, hoping that Trubisky was going to be the guy. Going forward, they were talking about it on other networks and all over about how Mack is kind of like a luxury item, right? Like right now, the Bears are like a busted 1967 Honda that's got rust all around it. But the defense of like Mack and Hicks is a good sound system and some shiny rims. You don't need shiny rims if your muffler keeps falling off. You know what I mean? Like, I think personally do you think it might be time to look at trading some of these pieces, like a Khalil Mack, like a Akeem Hicks, somebody along those lines, to maybe get some of that draft equity back?
I hate to say it. I don't want to see that happen. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to see that happen. I think Khalil Mack, the way his contract is structured, I think they can turn that into a bank almost, where they could dip into that somehow. Sure. Right? They can restructure it a little bit, and that'll help some things out. Akeem Hicks, I don't see a scenario where he just continues to stay on the team, just because if they start rebuilding and going in a different direction, first, we're going to have to do a lot of things on the offensive side of the ball, so it's going to definitely take away from the defense. Right. Eddie Jackson, second highest paid safety in the league. I don't know if you could trade that contract somewhere else unless he starts producing some more. He's not producing right now because they're not aggressive.
Right.
Bend but don't break. They're still playing good defense, but they're just not aggressive. They don't create turnovers. They let you make the mistake. So It's a difference, right? So, I mean, do I think that they need to do that? I don't think they need to do that. I think there are scenarios where they could fix this. I thought they could have fixed this situation in this season. Just you have to shore up the offensive line. You have to lean on your running game and lean on your defense. Forget trying to be Philadelphia. Yep. Forget trying to be Kansas City, Be who the Chicago Bears are. The Chicago Bears for years have been run the ball, pound the ball, rely on defense, have great special teams, and we will win games. They don't want to do it.
Yep.
They're trying to be another team. It's not going to work.
I like that analogy, and I do. Figure out your identity, because right now they're trying to mimic everybody else, and they're not doing a very good job of it. They're doing a really dog shit, terrible, horse ass, piss poor job of it. And you nailed it. You nailed it. That's a good call, Dan. Good call.
You nailed it.
We just sat here for 20 minutes, 30 minutes talking about this team, and there's still so much more that you can get into that are problems with this team. And that is the real glaring issue, is that there's just so much wrong with this team right now that where do you start? It's like when you got a lot of shit to do on a day and you're like, oh man, I got all this stuff to do. You overwhelm yourself and you just decide to take a nap, because
that's where I'm at right now. I've already told you guys, see me yawning over here.
Yeah.
It could be I've only gotten 2 hours of sleep, or or B. All right, B. I just jumped from A to 3. Look at that, guys. That's how tired I am. All right. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on with me over here? But no, or B. We've been spitting out the same shit over and over and over again for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Dan, I was a big proponent. We're going to let you go here soon, because I know you got your podcast coming up on the Brawl Network and all that other good stuff, and we'll be listening to it, man. Make sure you send us the link. We'll share the shit out of it, okay?
Appreciate it.
But I was a big proponent, and I was one of them pissed off fucking fans in this last year's draft, where at 43 you draft your fucking 21st tight end to fill your roster spot, and you go out and grab a guy that has 2 bum shoulders and a hip flexor in Jalen Johnson. Okay? I was not a fan of either of those picks at 43 and 50, especially when you could have had a guy like Chase Claypool, a guy like Ezra Cleveland, who we watched when he did match up against Akeem Hicks on Monday night, manhandled Akeem Hicks on Monday night, and then he stood his own. He really did. He stood his own. These are 2 guys. I was the guy that's like, hey, listen, you got to go out there and get the biggest, baddest, corn-fed, fucking fat-bodied, 6'6", 360-pound fat motherfuckers to plug up this line, because that's what the Chicago Bears need. And they didn't do any of it until the 6th and 7th rounds, and a couple undrafted shitheads that, that we don't see. We got this kid, Dieter Eelson, and we got fucking Humberto Hambright, and whatever the fuck his name is. All right. Honestly, next week that guy's gonna be folding tacos and washing cars over here in fucking Lamont. You're never gonna hear his name again. Arlington Hambright. There we go. That's his name.
What a name.
Yeah, exactly. That's a Madden character name.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the fuck that is. It's that guy when you get 11 seasons into the fucking Madden game and they create Justin Starr and Arlington Hambright. And Arlington Hambright's your starting quarterback. The fucking guy's name doesn't even fit on the back of the jersey. And somehow, some way, he's number 38 and he's your starting quarterback. It's like, what the fuck is going on around here?
It's depressing. It's downing. And it just puts me in a bad mood. That's why I just want them to lose so that everybody gets fired.
Burn this motherfucker down.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to want – Bears fans are going to want a quarterback to be drafted.
Right. Yep.
And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. For the next 2 years, the Bears need to draft offensive linemen in the 1st and the 2nd and possibly even into the 3rd round.
I told you. I told you.
Because, and I'll give you a reason why. I don't care who you have.
Because the O-line fucking sucks. Did I win? What did I win?
That's the truth. That is the truth. The O-line is terrible. And whoever you put in there, you don't want a situation where, you got what, David Carr? Remember him? How he got beat to hell, right? And
he's just a bag of flesh with no bones anymore, right?
Exactly. He sees ghosts and all kinds of stuff. So it's like the situation is you have to be able to protect your franchise quarterback. If you can't do that, don't draft him, because you're not going to do nothing but put him at a disadvantage. And then when he doesn't pan out, when things don't work out, then you blame that guy, and then you got people pointing fingers and this and that. Shore up the offensive line. The game is won on the defensive and the offensive side of the ball in the trenches. If you don't have those guys set, your team is going nowhere fast.
Yep. You are 100% correct, Dan. You are 100% correct. I can't agree with you more. I cannot agree with you more. Dan, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How can everybody listen to you? We just started this video thing, so we don't have a lot of guys hopping in here and shit like that, but we are getting our downloads and stuff like that. But Dan, tell everybody where we can find you, how we can listen to you, and all the other stuff. Give us a shout out.
You can find me. Of course, my Twitter handle is there at Dan Goodwin III. You can find me on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm also I do some writing, and you can go back and look at some of my writing. I've been consistent, man. I've written about some of this stuff, but it's on the Brawl Network. And then I also handle a podcast on there. It's called the Three Kings Podcast. So look out for it. I'll post it. I'll shoot it over to you guys, man. Let you guys know. And we keep it real, man. We talk just like you guys do. You guys keep it real. I respect that too. I respect that 100%.
Dan, I appreciate you coming on, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. We will talk soon, buddy.
For sure, my man.
Take care, bro.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. All right, Dan Goodwin, man. This guy, listen, I've been betting the shit with this guy the last couple of weeks, and this guy knows what the fuck he's talking about. I love this guy. He's exactly like us. He's another pissed off Bears fan that's just sick and tired of the same shit over and over and over again.
Yep.
Okay, that's exactly what it boils down to. And when it boils down to it, man, we're just tired of mediocrity here in Chicago is what it boils down to. We don't want to see this fucking shitty O-line continue to progress to ruin another good quarterback. All right, because who knows? Mitch Trubisky could be Patrick Mahomes and could be Deshaun Watson. All right, but the fact of the matter is you've never given him the chance to fucking do anything. And Nick Foles could still be Super Bowl Nick Foles, but the offensive line in front of him is fucking dog shit. Okay, and Angelo, you and I went back and forth a few weeks ago, about what I would do and what you would do in this draft. And I am adamant. I am sticking to my fucking guns that the Bears, it doesn't matter where I don't care if they end up somehow, some way, magically getting the fucking first overall pick, and Trevor Lawrence is sitting there all pretty looking hair with his fucking long bitch hair and sitting there looking at you like daydreaming fucking Matthew McConaughey circa Dazed and Confused 1980 whatever. All right, I don't give a shit. All right, you pass that fucking guy up and you grab an O-lineman. I don't want Kyle Trask. I don't want Trevor Lawrence. I don't want that fucking dude from Brigham Young, BYU. I don't want him. That Mormon fucking weirdo. I don't want him. Keep him out there. Have him marry 9 wives and fucking go to the NFL later. I don't care. You have to get something to protect your fucking quarterback, and the Bears don't have it.
I agree with you, but it will never happen, right? But if they did get the first pick, if they did get the first pick in the draft, you take Lawrence and you trade Khalil Mack to get another first-round pick. Yes, absolutely. You trade Khalil Mack, you get yourself Trevor Lawrence, you get 2 first-round picks for Mack, you get an O-line, and then the second pick, you get an O-line. That's what you have to do.
What team has 2 first-round picks?
Not the same year. I'm talking like a first round this year and a first round next year.
That's my problem. You got to do whatever you can to start rebuilding, and you don't rebuild by taking a number. You don't rebuild your team without a solidified O-line and draft a quarterback. You can't do that, Angelo. You can't do that. It's impossible.
You're right. I know you're right.
You can't.
I agree with you 100%.
I understand the fascination, the obsession of wanting to have a quarterback. I get it. I understand it. But regardless, you're still locked in the fucking big Nick over the next 2 years for $8 million a pop. Okay? That's exactly what it is. So go out and build your team. Suck again next year. Get another high pick. Grab your quarterback in the first or the second round, wherever you got to draft him. And draft some more O-line and solidify that. But that way, by year 3, if you do fucking suck again because Nick Foles is a shithead and can't fucking hit an open receiver and he's not big dick Nick, and your quarterback that you drafted in year 2 of this fucking shit show isn't any good, then you can go out and grab another quarterback, start a rookie quarterback. All I'm saying right now, Angelo, is exactly what Cleveland has done, is exactly what Cincinnati has done, is exactly what the Los Angeles Chargers have done, is exactly what the Arizona Cardinals have done, is exactly what the Jacksonville Jaguars are currently doing, is exactly what the Giants and Jets have done. They fucking rebuilt, dude. That's exactly what it boils down to. You see the end of the road with that quarterback, you start building again in front of him. Why is he sucking? Why does Eli Manning fucking suck these last 3 years? His O-line's depleted. Jeff Schwartz retired. Fucking they moved over a guard. Another guard got moved. All right. All that shit happened. Eli Manning sucks balls. They go out and get Danny Dimes. Although I think Danny Dimes is a fucking turd sandwich, that's besides the point. But they actually did do something to try to build their team again. Look at the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals go off and get Josh Rosen in the first round, trade him off for a second and a fifth round pick. Suck fucking balls again with aging guys and no quarterback. I don't even know who played quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals last year. I couldn't tell you.
Josh Rosen?
No, Josh Rosen got traded to Miami.
Huh.
All right, so Josh, I couldn't exactly. That's my fucking point.
No.
It's a good guess. He's played for 39 to 32 NFL teams.
Yeah,
that's a good guess. But no, that's exactly what I'm saying, dude. You have to build around. And what did they do a couple of years ago? They started drafting O-line knowing that they were going to suck. They go out and get Kyler Murray. Then now look at Kyler Murray now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to build, man. It all starts up front is what it boils down to, Angelo. It starts up front. And listen, if I'm a guy that sits here and sees this on my couch, I'm the best fucking armchair coach in the universe. All right. And the Bears should hire me to be their new GM. Honestly, Fat Mike for GM. Fat Mike and Angelo for GM.
Yeah. Yo, I'll be you know what? I've ran restaurants before. I've managed people.
We're going to email the Chicago Bears.
Why not? Why not? I'll send my
Chicago Bears.
On the bottom, on my cover page, I'll just put, "It can't get worse."
Right.
And I'll take less.
It
can't get worse, and I'll take less.
And I ran a Fridays once. And I know all about the Jack Daniels double-breasted chicken.
It wasn't a Fridays.
What was it?
It was
Five Guys.
Yeah,
Five Guys. You know, Jeffrey Dahmer was eating Five Guys before it was cool.
Oh, that's a good joke. That's what that joke made me think. You know how many times I fucking heard that shit?
Shit.
But I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah, let's wrap this bitch up. I'm hungry and I'm tired. I got 2 hours of sleep this last night, and Megan just got done slaving over a meal at which she's all good now, guys. Just a little update. She is better. She's feeling much better. Bunch of personal shit going on. I'm not going to throw it all out there on the planet, but yeah. But she's feeling better. So now she's back and chained to the stove, and so everything's good to go. Everything's good to go.
All right.
She's back and hooked up to the stove.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go there. I'll let you go there.
She's got a full bowl of food in the fridge.
And on that note.
Oh fuck. All right, guys. On that note, real quick, we got to make our picks for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, Cardinals and Seahawks.
Yeah, Cardinals, Seahawks. It's Cardinals across the board. Tyler texted me.
Yeah, I got the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's Cardinals across the board, and there we go. So we got to make sure you guys tune in with us on Sunday morning for talking football with me, myself, Angelo, and then me, myself, Fat Mike, and then Angelo here with us, and then Tyler DeMouse. I don't know what dude. I'm so tired, man. It's not even funny.
Peace.
I'm so tired. All right, so I got to go unhook Megan from the stove and let her, put her in the cage.
Hashtag thanks, Theo. Theo.
Thank you, Theo. Thank you, Firehouse Subs. Thank you, Dan Goodwin, for coming on with us. We really do appreciate it. And guys, thank you. Keep on downloading our shit because we love you. Go to the Firehouse store. Go to the Jesus Christ. Go to the 1252 store. Fuck this. I'm tired. All right, pick it.
Go on Twitter and follow us. You'll get all the details.
There you go. Thanks, Angelo.
Yeah.
You should have ran the show from an hour ago. I've been asleep.
Yeah. All right. We're done.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a good one. We'll see you on Sunday morning.
Peace.
Peace.